Lori, and I'm here with my friend Bob. How are you, Bob?
Good.
Good. Nice to see you. Thanks for coming. Tell me a little bit about where are you from?
I'm from Lidditz.
From Lidditz, so not too far.
Right.
Right? Okay. And tell me a little bit about this object that you brought.
Okay, I bought this about 25 or 30 years ago at an estate sale in Mannheim.
Okay, so you're going around to estate sales. Do you
Right.
usually buy small things, or do you just buy what you like?
I had a particular interest in cigar memorabilia type things.
Why is that?
And because I smoke a lot of cigars and have for years.
You smoke a lot of cigars, so you
Yeah,
like them. So
right.
you know the differences, right? Or at least what you
Yes.
like versus others,
Yes,
right?
right.
So a good Cuban versus some other types of cigars,
Right,
right?
exactly.
Okay. All right. So did you collect a large collection of cigar?
I did. I had plans to get a large collection, and I have a few Demuth pieces, but not a large collection.
So were you focusing just on tobacco ana, which is the term for tobacco collectibles, if you will?
Yes, I was.
Okay.
I knew this was there, and I wanted it's the only thing I bid on at the sale.
So that's what you wanted?
Yes.
Okay. And you got this, and you also got the cigar.
Yes, the cigar came with it.
Okay.
And I know it's not related, but the cigar, I know Ben and his wife used to take vacations to Cuba.
Right.
And they brought that cigar back, I don't know when, but it was before President Kennedy had the Cuban
So
embargo.
before 1961?
Right.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
So-
So you're looking at a circa 1950s, 1960s
Exactly.
era cigar.
Right.
Okay.
And I never...
Doesn't really smell.
No, it doesn't.
Doesn't have much of an aroma or odor anymore, which is something unusual.
I never kept it in a humidor or anything. I just kept it in a little chest I had.
Okay.
And I am amazed that it didn't
Totally deteriorate.
Right. I
Yeah.
don't know how it lasted so long.
Well, probably because, in a couple ways, but a humidor would have been better, as you know, because of course you're a cigar guy.
Right.
But of course, even if you have it in a case that has just less of the temperature and humidity changes, you'd be basically okay. This particular piece also has another very important element, and this is what's interesting about this. It has, of course, the band. And the bands are collectible in and of themselves. Forget the cigar for just a moment. Forget about the tobacco that's been rolled, but think about the band. So I want to think about all aspects of your little mini collection that you've got going here. But really what we were looking at is we were looking at this particular piece. So tell me a little bit about this, and I'm going to move it just so you can have a sense of it. You can see, of course, this particular figure on this leather, embossed leather. Sometimes they call it pebbled leather. So if you're buying a new pocketbook, for example, you're saying, oh, I can get the pebbled leather kind of thing. So if you're looking at this, that's basically a texturized leather that you're seeing, and leather inside, leather outside. So tell me a little bit about this, of course, from Demuth.
I know very little about it. I don't know how old it is. I don't know what it's for exactly. Somebody told me one time they thought it was like a pocket pouch where, how men would wear.
You protect it.
Yeah, that they would put cigars in that, but I thought it's so small, you couldn't really put
too much in it.
too much in that, so
Okay.
I never knew what it was, actually.
It's
but-
19th century, and it's for calling cards.
Oh, really?
It's 19th century for calling cards. It's late 19th century, so it dates anytime between 1875 and about 1900, and it is an advertising piece. So it falls into multiple categories, and people will say, well, what do you mean, Dr. Lori? Well, it falls into multiple categories. Anytime your antique falls into more than one category, it's worth more. So you're saying, wow, you know what, if I were to put this inside, it really wouldn't work very well.
Right, it doesn't.
Right, because if you open it up, it doesn't have an awful lot of room.
Right.
Okay, so basically what would happen is you would be going off and you would be making a calling at some place. Maybe you're going to your friend's house, you're walking in, and you're going to put a card down. The cards are rather this size, and you would typically see them. So it's an advertising collectible, and it's a tobacco collectible, and it relates particularly to, of course, Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. Right? Now, what's important about Demuth, of course, is that it is the oldest, right, cigar shop in the country. And remember that this relationship between the Native Americans, of course, and tobacco is how everybody sort of starts getting together. It's why we have cigar store Indians, if you will, right? People don't always know that, but that's what you're looking at here in this particular part of the country. Value on this piece, which dates anytime between 1875 and about 1895. Now, how do I know that? If you look at the construction, if you look at the materials, and if you look very closely, if you take my loop and you look very closely at the way in which this piece is color embossed, right, you can actually see that the coloration is done actually with a pinpoint. So it's done literally by hand. And that's where we start to see, again, much of our great craftsmanship. We have some damage, some areas like here, right, where you see losses, but that would happen on any piece of a natural material over many, many years. It is in, I would say, excellent condition for its age.
Oh,
It's certainly an antique, more than 100 years old, and value on it, I would say, about $600.
really?
Most of the reason why it has such a high value for a piece like this is because it has, of course, the famous statue, right?
Right.
And also the, of course, information about this particular place. The fact that it's still here, I'm oftentimes known to say, you know, art and antiques come home, right? Those objects tend to get back to where they started. This piece probably never left very far from its
No.
original.
Yeah, it probably never left Lancaster and Mannheim.
Yeah, it probably was in this
Yeah.
area a long time.
Yeah.
You will see others.
Oh,
It's not
really?
one of a kind.
Oh.
It's not one of a kind. You will see others.
Okay.
They were produced for a particular reason, which was to advertise the shop, as well as to have an opportunity to utilize this in a different way. There would be some people who might say, well, this would be an easier way to have women advertising the shop if they're not smoking cigars.
Okay.
So a little bit new information for you, right,
Yeah,
Bob?
yes, I had no idea what it was.
Great. I'm so
Because it
glad.
didn't make sense to me, though, putting your cigar in
I
there,
don't think it would have protected, and also
No.
I want you to think about the type of actual dress. So then you have to think about what kind of jackets, what kind of suits. It's not like our, you know, our pen protectors on a white cotton shirt
Right,
for the
right.
office. It wasn't like that. This particular piece is earlier than that, but in very nice condition. Thanks so much for coming,
Oh,
Bob. Nice to meet you.
It was a pleasure.
Thanks
you
for
very
being on
much.
What's It Worth.
Thank you very much.